Happy New Year, 97.1. We've got TJ Lang in studio on a Wednesday, and he gave us some of his thoughts on the Vikings game. I think we're all ready to put that behind us.
Yes, bury it.
Stoney, they still got one more game. We can get to that later. Why don't we get into this offseason a little bit with you, TJ? Because when you have a season like this, change is coming, right?
Yeah, it has to. And I got to imagine, and look, I mean, I've been part of these for a long time. Like, if you have a season where, you know, it's kind of, I'm not going to say it, maybe embarrassing is a strong word, but a wake-up call.
Yeah.
A wake-up call. Yes, changes they're inevitable. Like, they're going to happen. Player-wise, you know, probably staff-wise, there's going to be changes. You can't just do what you did last year and, you know, hey, man, like, once we get these guys back healthy and, you know, oh, man, that was the reason, right? Like, next year we're going to have a full team and let's run it back again. I think this season was too much of a, you know, just
bring the band back together again.
Not close enough, and I think that there has to be changes. Yeah, so I'm not going to speculate on what changes are going to happen, but I think that clearly number one for me, I mean, I think Dan has to, you know, hire a very, very good, hopefully seasoned offensive coordinator, and you know, that's not me trying to push John Morton out of the way, but it's kind of
writing on the wall.
Like, it's kind of writing on the wall, right? I mean,
and Dan needs to be a head coach.
Yeah, and if John Morton, if he wants to keep John Morton on staff, and you know, hey, like we loved you as a analyst or pass game guy, like you were great doing that. Maybe that's more your specialty. Yeah, that's totally a possibility. So
it's on him if he would accept the demotion. But yeah,
I think so. And look, offense. I mean, I don't know what that offensive line is going to look like. You know, I think pretty evident last week that they benched Graham. I mean, he's active, he's healthy. Not healthy, I mean, everybody's banged up, but he's dressed on the sideline. And, you know, they went with Kingsley, who, I mean, I'm not going to say they win the game if they play Graham, but do I want a young player on the road against that defense, you know, maybe over a veteran guy that has at least, you know, seen this and has the experience? Like, maybe, but you know what? My thought on that, and I have no idea, I didn't talk to anybody about that decision, but I think maybe that part of them was, hey, maybe we know that, you know, Graham's either going to be moving on, you know, to retirement or, you know, not coming back, whatever it may be. We don't want to get caught in the same situation we were in last year where we, you know, we maybe thought Frank was coming back. Like, we have to see what we have with these guys to maybe see if they're a part of the future.
But it's a weird spot when you're still not eliminated to start
when it's a must-win game. That's what I'm saying is, like, that's the part where I'm like, and look, I think Kingsley actually did a lot of good things the week before against Pittsburgh. So it was kind of like, if that was their mindset of, hey, like, saw a little bit of something from this guy, let's see what we got again with him, and maybe, you know, maybe this could be the guy that we can go into next year with and kind of pencil in as that center spot. I don't know, like, but that's just a thought that they had. Yeah. So Decker, I mean, he did. We talked about it about a month ago. I mean, he did that long piece with Burkett about, you know, already thinking about, you know, what he's going to do and if he's going to come back. I don't know which way he's leaning. I don't ask guys those questions.
Jared was with, you know, Gator yesterday and intimated that there's Frank ain't coming back. Like that.
Oh,
door
I
is
think
closed.
that I would imagine so. Right. I think especially if, you know, if Graham's going to move on and Taylor's going to move on, and those are his buddies, right, that he played with forever. I don't think he's going to want to come in and be a part of a rebuild offensive line.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I wouldn't even look at that as an option, to be honest with you. And I think Jared was pretty clear about that yesterday.
He was. And I think one of the moving pieces on the interior, because Campbell was asked this week, what is Ratlich's long-term position? Because he'll factor into the middle three. It's just going to be.
What do you say?
I don't think he don't think he.
No,
I think he's a good question, but he didn't. This was not with us. This was with the general media. He didn't give a specific answer.
Okay,
and he said, "I'm not sure."
I mean, I wouldn't object.
I thought Tate had a good year, man. I thought he had a really good year. Like, I thought he got better. I thought, like, there's always going to be some rookie moments where it's like, yep, you're going to learn from that one. But
do you see him turning into a center? Look, remember Frank started as a guard.
Yeah, Frank started at guard. That was my last year playing. He was the other guard, and then they bumped him over the next year. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't get to watch enough of these guys in practice, right? Like, that's obviously, if he's taking reps in practice and, you know, doing some things, like, we only get to see him for 3 hours out of the week, right? Like, those guys obviously would have a better feel for it. But I think that if they want to stick him at guard, I think he's got a bright future there. Okay. If they want to keep him at right guard, man, I think he had a really, really solid rookie season.
Did Mahogany come back too quick? Because he wasn't as good after he got hurt than before. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to remember the timeline on that when it initially happened. It was kind of like maybe the end of the season, and I don't know. I mean, guy, he's a young guy. I mean, they heal up a little bit faster.
Right.
No, I think.
But they got to evaluate. Is he a starter next year?
Yeah,
Like, these are all really tough decisions.
That's fair. That's fair. And I think Christian kind of same boat as Tate, where you see a lot of really good film from these guys, and there are a lot of really good things that excite you. That could be like, these two young guys, man, like we found something here. I think Miles Frazier did some nice things when he was in there.
Right.
But yeah, these are going to be huge off seasons for those guys individually to not get complacent, not feel like, hey, I'm a starter, I'm good, I can start to relax a little bit. Like they're going to have to expect even more out of you moving forward.
Well, sticking with the line, what have you heard? Because he played once, I think, but you couldn't tell. In practice, is Manu somebody that people can expect to be a player, or is this still way too early?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to have that answer by Sunday.
No, I know.
Or the spring when they have to make roster decisions.
There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be in the same boat, man. Like we saw it basically this past training camp with some of the project guys from the draft before Manu, with Colby Sorsdahl and with Broderick Martin and with Hendon Hooker. I think Dan Campbell, and he even said this. I don't know if he said it publicly, but it's not a secret. He was like, Bill Parcells always kind of said, hey, for young guys, for project guys, you need 2 years plus a training camp to really see what type of player they're going to be. So guys that are going to be going into training camp on their third year, Manu being in that boat, is going to be a make or break year for him. Right? So it's going to be a big offseason to see if he can come back and be somebody you can rely on.
But just expectation setting. I don't think you can expect him to be a starting offensive lineman. It may develop into that third tackle through a training camp. But TJ, is this priority one? Is offensive line priority one for you this offseason?
Yeah, I think both sides of the ball up front.
Yes.
I do. And, look at Roy Lopez had a really good year. Would I love to bring him back on a decent deal again? Absolutely. Especially I think DJ Reader is going to be a free agent. Alco Dean's a free agent. Davenport's a free agent. I know.
Right.
That's a trigger word sometimes with you guys. But yeah, I think that both sides of the ball are up front are going to have to be priorities. And I look at it more like this too, and I'm listening a little bit this week on vacation, you guys talking about, changes. You obviously asked Coach about it yesterday about Shepard. It was a shame last week because I thought Shep had his best game of the season. It was a big-time game, must win. I thought he had his defense ready to go. I thought he did a really good job of switching things up and getting the defensive backs more involved in some of the pressure plans. He looked like he had his guys ready to go, but ultimately he just got on the biggest play of the game. You look
so break that down for people.
Yeah, so Kevin O'Connell, I think there was just under 4 minutes left in that game, right? You get a stop on first down. It was 2nd and 10. Minnesota gets to the line of scrimmage. A typical Kevin O'Connell, let's see what kind of defense they're running, calls a timeout. Detroit was showing, hey, we're going press man coverage. He says, okay, we're going to switch to this little jet sweep. Comes back out of the timeout. Shep had an opportunity to change it. Okay, hey, they're clearly calling a timeout because they want to see what defense we're in. And that to me was, what, my guys are playing well today. I don't need to change anything. We're just going to beat you. And you got a little bit schematically. So that could have been, a learning point, I think, for Shep probably to say, my guys we don't have the depth and the talent right now just to line up and show you what you're going to do and beat you every single play, especially with some of the injuries that you had. So it was unfortunate. It sucked that play happened because I thought it took away from what was a really good game by Shep. But I if I'm going to make some adjustments, I would say I already kind of mentioned the staff part on the offensive side, right? Trying to find an offensive coordinator that can come in and just run the offense. And defensive side, I still look at it more as personnel. I don't think I look at it as much as the coaching staff that's like, man, these guys are just out of whack schematically. Like they just don't look like they have the guys. And a lot of that's injury related. But look, I mean, some of these injuries, like Kirby, I mean, they've been pretty open about the fact like this is going to be something that lingers for him. Branch, I mean, who knows when he's going to be back?
Right, so, he's come back from Achilles. You're talking maybe mid-October, right?
Yeah, but defensive side, I still look at the biggest upgrade you can make or make her with personnel.
Yeah, and then the offensive line has been the backbone of the these teams. And you know better than anybody that up until this year, whether it's injury or performance, they would blow people off the ball, which means they could run the ball, which meant they could set up the play action for what Goff does the best. And they couldn't do that this year. And if you can't run the ball with that type of quarterback, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we're up against it here, but like Dan Campbell said yesterday, if Jared Goff's going to be your guy for the future and he's your quarterback, I got no problem with that. But like you said, you better take it serious on giving him everything he needs to have success, right? We've seen it. Starts with the offensive line in that run game.
Yeah, I think it's more about the pocket than the player. I mean, if they give him a pocket, we know what kind of player he is and what they're capable of. They just didn't have that pocket for most of the year. And I think TJ made a good point. Christmas Day, you could say, hey, Goff, regardless, you got to do better.
Yeah, he had a horrible game.
With pre-snap and ball security and just not having that many turnovers or letting it spiral. But for the season, the constant was they couldn't run the ball well. He didn't always have a clean pocket, and a lot of times he was under siege, and we just know he's not that guy.
No.
So, yeah, I think that's priority number one is the offensive line.
Yes.
Now the defensive coordinator conversation, we've been having it a little bit, you and I, Stoney. And I know people are welcome to jump in on the phones. You could say personnel, but when the DC comes out and says, we're not getting the ball run down our throat, when that's exactly what happens back-to-back-to-back weeks. I mean, in the last 6 weeks, they've given up 30 points per game and over 400 yards per game.
Well, every
game.
And
a lot of ugly games on the ground. For all the injuries in the secondary, their front, they've been getting manhandled. Now, maybe that's personnel, but where are the run fits? Why is there no answer to just letting the other team run for 5-6 yards a pop?
Every game they've lost this season, all 8 games, they've got outrushed. That's the constant.
Yeah. Anyway, we got phones, we got texts, we got TJ. It's 97.1.